Hello everybody. Today we're going to be discussing the digestive system. This is going to be the last body system that we're going to be covering in sophomore biology. So we're going to go head into the digestive system. The primary structures with this system are the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, and the rectum. Throughout this presentation we're going to go in depth about each structure, or the majority of these structures, and explain what types of food are digested in each, and we're going to talk about the different functions of each of these structures. The primary function of the digestive system as a whole is to convert food into small molecules that the body can use. The food is processed through four key steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, and elimination. Ingestion is simply just putting food in your mouth. Digestion can be broken into two categories: mechanical digestion versus chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion is the physical breakdown of large pieces into smaller pieces, so basically chewing. Chemical digestion is when enzymes break down food into molecules that the body can use. So breaking down the smaller pieces that we chewed, breaking those down even further into smaller molecules and particles that our body can use and can be absorbed, which is our next term, absorption, which is food molecules can be absorbed into the circulatory system by small intestine cells. And finally, elimination. Materials that the body cannot digest travel through the large intestine and are eliminated as feces. That is poop. So you have ingestion, the two forms of digestion, mechanical and chemical, absorption, and elimination. Here's a picture of the digestive system. You're not going to be responsible for knowing all of the parts of it. We will discuss the majority of them, but I want you to basically just have an idea of the structures that we discussed earlier, meaning the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, the small intestine, large intestine, the stomach. Other structures such as the liver or the pancreas we're going to discuss when talking about the process of digestion, but you're not going to be responsible for knowing the location of them. So here's just a picture of the digestive system. The process of digestion is when food travels through the mouth, esophagus, stomach, and small intestine. Starting in the mouth, the food is tared and grinded, and the saliva enzymes, or amylase, kill pathogens within the food. This is where carbohydrate breakdown begins, and it takes approximately 1 minute for this step to happen. Next, it is the esophagus, which is a tube leading from the pharynx to the stomach. Peristalsis is contractions of smooth muscles to move food through the esophagus to the stomach. This takes approximately 2 to 3 seconds. When you have a big chunk of food, so if you eat too much, you bite off more than you can chew, so per se. When you have a big wad of food, that's why you feel it in your chest. It's also called heartburn. That's more of a chemical enzyme reaction, but you can also feel heaviness in your chest area because you have the big wad of food traveling down your small esophagus tube. Next is the stomach. The glands in the stomach lining release hydrochloric acid, or HCl, and the enzyme pepsin to break down proteins into smaller polypeptide fragments. Contractions of stomach muscles churn the contents to create something called chai, which is basically an oatmeal-y textured liquid that contains all the broken down foods and enzymes. In the stomach, this is where protein digestion begins, and it takes approximately 2 to 4 hours. So food will sit in your stomach for about 2 to 4 hours as it's being broken down by hydrochloric acid and pepsin. Next is the small intestine, which is the liquid mixture, where in the liquid mixture, the chai, is created in the stomach is slowly released into the small intestine. In the small intestine, this is where fat digestion begins. From here, pancreatic enzymes and duodenum enzymes. Duodenum is just a bigger word for the first part of the small intestine. These two types of enzymes complete digestion, and this takes about 3 to 5 hours. So food will be traveling through your small intestine, which is very large, for approximately 3 to 5 hours. In the large intestine, at this point, any products that you ate, or any food products or molecules that have been broken down, have already been released to the body and entered into the circulatory system. So the large intestine is primarily used for defecation or pooping. If food or molecules get into the large intestine, they're primarily getting ready and prepared for elimination. Also, what happens within the large intestine is water is absorbed. Just a simple recap of the digestion process. Carbohydrate digestion begins in the mouth. Protein digestion begins in the stomach. Fat digestion begins in the small intestine. Water is absorbed into the large intestine, and undigested materials are eliminated as feces. Additionally, in the small intestine, that is where the rest of digestion kind of stops. So the carbohydrate and the protein digestion, which began in earlier stages of the digestion process, will be wrapping up when they get into the small intestine, because at this point, the nutrients from the proteins, the carbohydrates, and even the fat will be distributed to the body and enter into the circulatory system to travel throughout the blood to the different parts of the body so the body can get the nutrients. This basically sums up the digestion system, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me, or if you want to email Miss Rayner, that is fine as well. If you have any concerns with this or any of the other units, again, feel free to email me. We will be in class working on an activity about the digestion system, about mapping out a meal and relating the structures and functions of the system to the structures and function of your body as a whole. So we're going to be discussing how the digestion system helps your body, one, maintain homeostasis, which is our main theme of this unit, but also how it helps the body to overall function and to get the nutrients into the blood and to get rid of the unwanted products. So that's the end of our presentation. Have a great day.